folks, welcome back. Doc D in the dungeon, and of course my beautiful Cindy is joining us today. Hey, I want to apologize. It has just been freaking hot. We've had temperatures averaging in the low to mid 90s all the way up to 100 most of the time, and it's just, I don't have air conditioning out in either of the shop areas yet, and so it's just been too hot. And we're getting ready to go to the Bahamas for a week, and then we'll be back for about a month, and then we're going to go to the Keys for a month. And so there'll be a lot of footage coming up this fall. I'm going to try to get some footage in here before I go, but again, it's going to be a little spotty over the next 2 months, next 3 months. But I am here. We are making videos, and what I'm sitting at in front of you is a CNC router build, and I have not built any of this. A guy out on Marketplace, the guy's wife was advertising it, and I bought it pretty darn cheap, about what he had in hardware, and you know, he's probably got double that in wood and fasteners and stuff. But so yeah, I think I gave $300 for this, and it's a 2 foot by 6 foot CNC router table, and it's mostly there. It's mostly completed. I started going through, double checking, you know, what still needed to be done. There's a couple parts that still have to be built, and then it has to be assembled. So this will be coming up this fall. I'll put some more information later, but this is a project, and this will be probably I don't know, 3 or 4 videos. Today's video, Cindy, who has been helping me just about every day for the last couple years, she is going to actually walk through a small project, and that project is, this is for my Logan lathe. You know, I do love my Logan lathe, but it needs a lot of things done to it. So this is a chuck key for it, and this came with the machine. It kind of works, but you know, it was done by somebody just sanding it or grinding it, and so we're going to make a new chuck key today. It's a fairly simple project, but it's going to require a little bit of lathe work. It's going to require a little bit of milling work, and we'll actually drill and tap the back of this so that we can put a stop in here for the crossbar. So a lot of things that she's going to learn, a lot of things she's going to do, and we'd like you to come along. Maybe this is an opportunity for you to have your significant other take a more active role in the shop. And you know, as I was telling Cindy today, it would be nice if I could give her a small project that builds on something else that I'm working on, and she could just go and do it. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build Cindy into a little mini maker. When we met, she never did anything with her hands. She didn't do anything. But so she started doing her resin stuff. She has her own resin project page, Cresin, C-R-E-S-I-N, Cresin project. So I'll put a link in the description. Please check it out. She is a YouTuber as well. She also has a YouTube page for freediving, and so please check it out. I'll put links to both of those in the description, and Cindy would enjoy the love and the attention. And so let's get started. Back in a moment. And I got the remote. Here we are with Cindy. All right, Deb, tell us what you're going to do.
I'm going to cut this.
Okay, you're going to face it. All right, so how do you face it?
By pushing this against the piece of metal.
Right, when it's moving.
And then turn on the machine, and...
Well, you're going to turn on the machine, and then you're going to move that up so it touches. Then you'll come off of it, and then you'll go back in, right?
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. All right, you ready? Nope, not that one, this one.
Oh.
So here we go. Okay, you took a little bit off of it. Nice, back it back out. You don't have to go to the back it back out.
Okay.
There. You're going to move this forward. Move that forward just a little bit. And then you're going to run this over. Okay, so we have done our very first facing on the milling machine. And a mighty fine job. Alright, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to call this the butt end of this. And because we are going to put a crossbar in it, we'll go ahead and we're going to drill that, and then we'll go ahead and tap it. And we're going to do a 1/4 20, and so we'll be back in just a moment to do that. All right, now we're set up. We have a Jacob's chuck in the tailstock. Tailstock is snugged up, and she's going to go ahead and turn it on. And we've got a center drill in there. Alright, and then, alright, we're back. We have got a number 7 drill chucked up in the tailstock. I've got a piece there, a piece of tape there outlining the depth. It's just an arbitrary depth that we're going to tap. And then we already have our hole spot drilled. And so Cindy will be able to just do this. So what she's going to do is she's going to feed it in a little bit, and then she'll back it out, throw in a little oil, feed it in a little bit, back it out, and keep doing that until she reaches full depth. All right, you ready? loosen up your tailstock.
This?
Yep. That's going to be another project very soon, is to make a new tailstock nut. Right, got that out. So let's go ahead and take that number 7 drill out of there, and let's put in a 1/4 tap. So there's your chuck key.
What do I have to do? Do I turn it the other way?
Yep. Just like you're loosening it. That should be fine. Go ahead and pull it out, set it down. Alright, we want to go ahead and take that tap out of the tap holder. Leave that in there.
Okay.
Grab the tap.
This?
Yep.
Okay.
Alright, so we want to go ahead and pull that tap out of there, so we're going to have to loosen that up.
Okay.
Okay, now you're going to chuck the tap up in here. The tap, that's the tap holder.
Oh.
Alright, so we need to open it up a little bit more. So go ahead and pull that out of there. Nope.
No?
Now we want to snug it up pretty good. Alright, so what we're going to do is it's going to feed that in by hand until it starts, and I'm going to turn the headstock so that we have this going. Alright, so you got some pressure on it, and we're going to do, no, leave it loose. Alright, so we're going to put a little tap magic there. Alright, and so, and you can just push against this gently. No, push. Alright, and so I'm just going to, this is a good way to get your tap started without getting it crooked. And once it's fully started, I'll go ahead and it should start slipping in the chuck before too long. Once it starts slipping in the chuck, then I'll, yep, see, there it started slipping in the chuck. You see that?
Yep.
Let me, boy, this autofocus is not working worth a darn today. Alright, so as I turn it, you can see the tap is actually turning in the chuck. So that's what we want. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and release the chuck. Use your chuck key. That's the tap holder. Now, come on now, I didn't monkey fist it. Alright, so go ahead and pull the tailstock all the way out.
Okay.
And then let's put our tap wrench on it. That right there.
Okay.
Alright, and so slide it on there like so. And tighten it up. Alright, now what I'm doing is I'm going to turn this in, and I'm going to tap this because it's really easy to break these smaller taps, especially if you don't know what you're doing, and I might still break it, and I do know what I'm doing. But so the secret to this is feeling where you're at. I'm going to back this out, and I'm going to clear any chips that are in there because there's probably a few. Yeah, we've started cutting. Tap magic helps. This tap doesn't appear to be really sharp, so I might change out to a little better tap. Once you got it started, this usually isn't too bad, and so it's really, you got to be able to feel where that tap is starting to give, and that tap's really dull. We're going to throw it away, and let me go get another one. Did you pause that? Alright folks, so we had a calamity of errors there. Those are brand new number 7 drill bits, and they're supposed to be 201 thousandths, and they were more like 198. And so they were not cutting the mustard at all. So I took another drill, a known drill, and I cut that. And you can see that the tap, when you get to that where it's starting to bind up, you can see it starts to twist. And that, and you know, I've broken more taps than I ever care to think. And, you know, but as you get more experience with this, you can feel when that tap is cutting and when it's not cutting. You could feel that break point. And then of course, you know, if you've got a dull tap, it's a lot harder. And so what I'm doing is I get, you know, a quarter twist in and I break it, and you can feel the threads break inside because it's basically creating a little chip, and then by going backwards I'm breaking that chip off. And so you can see that my headstock is actually turning with this. That's not a bad thing. I've got, no, I don't need to hold it. It's got enough restriction on it that I can drive the tap in, but when the tap starts loading up, then the headstock is moving. If I was in a lower gear, that would not be happening, but we're in a high gear. The fact is, I think I'm in the highest belt range I can get. Alright, one of the worst things you can do is try to tap, especially a small tap, with one hand, because when you do that, like when I first started out, I would do this, and I broke a whole lot of very small taps because all of my force is coming on this thumb, right? Well, by doing it this way, I'm splitting that force so it's evenly applied, and I get a lot more mileage out of my taps. You know, like I said, it's pretty easy to break one of these smaller taps. You know, and I've broken some big taps too, usually by being silly, not paying attention, taking something for granted. This is a mystery steel. It parted off pretty easy earlier, and it seemed to machine well, so I don't think it's a high carbon, but it's proven to be a little more difficult to tap than what I would have expected. So and I should be getting pretty close to the end of that hole, in which case I will find that the tap will just bind up. Alright, and so the secret is, again, is feel. When you feel that start to bind up, like, yeah, we're there. And then I'm just going to back it on out. And then if I had my air running, I'd just blow that out. What I'm going to do probably is just blow it out with my mouth, which sometimes winds up with you getting a load of stuff in your mouth. Alright, there we go. Alright. Doesn't look bad at all. Alright. And so you can see all the tips there, all the little chips. Alright, so again, be gentle, feel the tap, and then, you know, you gotta, every quarter turn or so, break that chip. Alright, so there's a 420. I think I might go ahead and run the spiral tap in there now, just for good measure. If I can find the tap key. Capture. Now I'm just going to run this one in there for good measure. There we go. And you can see that tap twisting. Can you see it? Mm-hmm. You see it twisting? So that's what we're looking for. When it starts binding up, you know, that's what you're looking for, is that tap will, it has a certain amount of twist in it, but you go just a hair over that and it's gone. And there's nothing worse than breaking off a small tap in a part that you're wanting to use. Because getting them out can be challenging. And so, you know, there was still quite a bit of chip still in there, but not terrible. All right, back in a moment. All right, now she's going to go ahead and she's going to smooth out that edge a little bit, so you got to turn it on. So all we're doing is we're just rolling that edge, making sure there's not a sharp edge there. It's nice and smooth. So that's going to be our back side, and now we're going to flip that around, and we're going to machine the other end. Okay, so we're getting ready to go from a turning and facing operation to a parting operation. So she's going to go ahead and loosen up the locking bar on there. Yep, push it forward. There you go. Now that turning and facing tool will come off, and just set it out of the way, and then we have a carbide insert parting tool. Snug that up, okay, and then we're going to take it over where we want to go. And let's see. I think that'll be fine. All right, so step out of her way, so you're going to turn it on. I would probably just go ahead and part it off. But since Cindy's doing it, we're just going to stop it there, and I'll part it off with a hacksaw. If it was just a short piece, it wouldn't be any big deal. But for that long piece, I don't really like to part off long pieces. I'm going to go right here, so you're going to have to go to the other side. And so this is pretty common. This will part it off. I actually parted off the other end of it just fine. But like I said, when I've got a little bit of stick out, I'm a little hesitant to part it all the way off. So I get it close, and then we just bust it off. There we go. So now we're going to go back to our turning. So we got to change out our cutoff tool, our parting tool, for a turning tool. Right, remember how to do that? Mm-hmm. All right. Push forward.
Forward?
Push. Push. There you go.
Oh.
It's almost like you just did that a minute ago. All right, now you can set that in there. Okay. And you snug that back up. You remember how you faced off earlier?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, go ahead and start your lathe. this back out of the way. Alright folks, I was checking in the machinery handbook and they were saying for a 1/4 inch the width across flat should be 0.362 as a minimum, 0.375 as a maximum. And so I'm measuring this, and this is a 1/4 inch, actually just a little under a 1/4 inch. Yeah. Alright, so that throws things off. Okay, that's fine. And then if I measure the width across the flats, I'm getting 340, 335. So I think what we'll do is we'll do width across the flats of 0.335. Alright, and so what that means is that I'll turn it to 0.335, and that way when I cut it, it will actually it'll create a little bit of clearance in there because it will be just slightly smaller. So that's what we're going to go. We're going to shoot for 335, and we'll turn it to that. So back in a minute. Cindy's right here looking at me. She's raring to go. She's raring to go. Look at her. She's so excited. All right, so we've kind of laid out where we think we want to cut to. So now she's going to turn on the lathe and she's going to mark her spot. Alright, so we're at, we'll let the users look. Why can't I get this thing to focus? Turn autofocus off. Alright, so we're at 354 and we want to be at 330. So we want to take 20 thousandths. Alright, let's go turn on. Right, so again, that's the thing, you know, is take a cut, and you know, I use this a lot. I'll cut half of what I think I need. So we're at 335. All right, and so we're going to take just a little bit, and we're going to clean up what's left there, and I think we're probably there. What'd you wind up with? 332. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to file this flat. Come on the other side. To be too concerned about getting into it. I mean, you can tell I'm in the lathe chuck right now. People get kind of antsy about filing up here. Unless your jaws are sticking out a whole bunch, you know, it's not going to hurt you. So don't be afraid of it. I mean, it doesn't mean stick your hands in there necessarily. Don't be afraid of it. All right. So why is that one? Here we go. So now we're at 328. I'll take that. And there might be some, yeah, it's just a little bit smaller at the end. That's fine. All right, so we've got that part done. So the next thing we have to do is we got to go to the milling machine. And somebody freaking jerked that thing in there like it was hard or something. Alright, never ever ever leave your key in the chuck. If you do, you'll only do it once. Years ago I left one in there, and I started the lathe up and it slammed down, and there was actually there was a plastic crate that was underneath the lathe, and it just went whoop and busted clean through that plastic crate on this side and the other side. Scared the heck out of me, and so don't let that happen to you. Alright, let's go to the middle. Alright folks, what we're going to use is a 5C collet block. These come in a lot of different sizes and shapes. Let me grab this other one too. So I have a hex shape. So I have a square, which is what I'm going to use now because I'm going to cut 4 sides to it. And then I have a hexagonal. They make them octagonal. They make them all different sizes, right? And the way this works is that our 5C collet fits down in there, and there's a taper right here. And then as we screw this down on there, it tightens up that taper, and it winds up squeezing whatever we have in there. All right? And so I'm going to put this in here, and just going to tighten it up, So what I normally do is I just tighten that down, and I leave this thing flopping off. But unfortunately I want to cut on this side, I don't want to cut on that side. So this is designed that you snug it up a little bit. And then it's got a cam lock action, right, that brings it in nice and tight. When I can, I just snug it up as far as I can by hand, and that usually is good enough. But we'll try this, we'll see if it holds, because I really want to cut on this side. Alright, So up top, we've got a brake, and then we got our drawbar. I loosened the drawbar, gave it a tap. That should have unseated our taper on there. It did. Perfect. Put this over here. And then, let's see. I really need to redo this, but so for this, I'm just going to roll it around. I'm going to snug up the drawbar, brake, 3/4 inch wrench, snug it up. Doesn't have to be super tight. All right, and then we're going to go right on over here. If you have a one shot, probably a good idea to give her a little lube before you start. Now what I'm going to do, come over here, zero in here, come right here, you can't see from there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of paper in here, and I'm just going to slowly increment this up, all right, and then when I've got it to where the paper is, all right, so that is pretty much zeroed on that. All right, so I'm just going to take it off. When I start this up, I'll set my zero there, and then I'm going to step the table up however much I want to go. Back in a moment. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and zero my Z because we set it off on there using that piece of paper to set our zero. That'll be close. It'll be really, really close. All right, and we were at 329, all right, and we're looking for an end value of 240. All right, now I don't do math in my head anymore. All right, so if I look at this and I go, okay, 0.34, or excuse me, 0.24, 24, well, we're at 0.34, we're 0.329, right? Yeah, 0.329. We want to go to 0.24 minus 0.24. So I have 89 thousandths that I have to take off. All right. So I'm going to take half of that, and we're going to take 90 thousandths. So I'm going to take 45 off of each side. Okay, and that should wind up giving me my 1/4 inch. All right, makes sense? All right. So now it's Cindy's turn. I'll take back over this. All right, come over here. And let's make sure that we're turning in the right direction. We are. Okay, so you're going to use this. Become center. Okay, so we heard just a, just want to stay center. Okay. All right. So I heard just the slightest buzzing, so we're right on that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use this to go up, and let's take 25 thousandths. So 25, wait, stop. I'm going to go ahead and zero out my X and my Y. That'll be apparent here. I'll zero out my X and Y and the Z. out here in a moment. Alright, so we're going to go that way, and you're going to be watching your V, and let's climb up so that it is T5. That's 2,000. 2,5. 2,5. Okay, we're starting to actually get some real chips off there now. Let's do this. So it raise it to 0.25. Okay. Alright, so we dialed in 2.5 on our Z-axis, and then we're going to turn this in. We're back. We got the one side cut. We had a little error there where the spindle was not locked, and so it rode up. So I went ahead and cut the other side just to make sure that we're good. And we got a little boo-boo, but it'll be fine. We got like a, I don't know, 5,000th groove on the other side, but it'll work out. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and cut the next two, and we are at depth. I did slow the spindle speed down, and so we should be a lot. So we're not going to move this at all. So we're just going to take that off because we're at final depth. So I want you to bring that so it's centered up on that. The other way. There you go. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Yep. All right. And then you're going to come over here. And then we're going to swing it that way. And then once you get close to this edge here, stop. Alright, so there's that one. Go ahead and flip it. To our last side. Stick it out a little further. Okay. Drive it home. Yeah, you can see our little alley there. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Stop. Alright, so I think we're pretty close. We're going to go pull this out. I'll run a file over the edges and then we'll test fit it. Tuck it back in here because it's a little easier to work on, and I'm just going to work those edges a little bit. There's a couple of burrs there. There's our side that we had a little boo-boo on. I'll leave those edges just a little bit. Alright, and then final proof on whether we got that right or not is Oh, it fits in there nicely. So that's good. And unlike this one tends to fall out on me all the time. I don't think this one's going to. I mean, we could shorten that up a little bit if we wanted to, and I might do that, but I think I'll probably just leave it like that, and then when it starts getting worn on the end, then I'll just turn it down a little bit. So, okay. So we got that. Things we have left to do, we've got to drill a cross hole here so that we can put our crossbar in there. And then I want to do a little bit of a touch up here. And I think we'll just go ahead and do that while we're engaged. So here we go. Just snugging that right in there, cleaning that out just a little bit. Just to clean up that corner. Broke the back side of it, which is exactly what I want to do. And then obviously anytime we do something like this, we want to break our edges. You see a lot of the YouTube guys, you know, they've got a cutter set up for this. I just like to use a file. Just what I've been doing forever. Alright. So there we go. Looks pretty good. No sharp edges. I like it. Still got a little bit of a burr right there. There it is. Yeah, it's good. Alright, so we're going to go back to the milling machine and we'll set up to do this cross hole. Then I got to find something to put in that cross hole. Alright folks, we're back on the mill and we're getting ready to cut the cross hole for the crossbar. And so what we've done, I've got a V-block here, and that V-block actually has a hole in the center of it, and that was cut with a X drill. And so basically all I did is I chucked up an X drill and I located it in the center. This doesn't have to be perfect. If it's off 5, 10, 15 thousandths, it won't make any difference whatsoever. Alright. Again, just trying to get this done and get it over with. For Cindy's sake, because she's tired of this already. Alright, so what she's going to do now is we've got a longer center drill in there. She's going to go down and she is just going to put a divot on top of that, which should be centered. If it's not, we'll adjust it, but it should be. Alright, so go ahead and turn it on. Is it alright? Just bring it down. A little bit more. What that does is it gives our drill a go ahead and put that in there. That's good. Come on. Alright. Yep, that's good. Go ahead and turn it off. Alright, now we're going to swap out. We've got a crossbar here. I can put it in front of the camera. It's just a piece of stainless steel that I had, a piece of stainless steel bar, and rounded the ends of it. And we're going to cut that. It is 5/16, so we're going to drill that 5/16, and it should be a sliding fit. Back in a moment. Alright, so now we're swapped over. Go ahead and start it up. And drill it away. check out where it chips. Back in again. Okay, we just went through the middle. Good. Alright, we're not tight enough. So, go ahead and put it off. Got a little bit slippage there. So it's in that central cavity, and so the edges are having a tendency to catch a little bit. Yeah, it was pretty loose. Okay. Back it up. And then as you start to go through the bottom of it, you'll feel the foot start jumping a little bit. So when it starts doing that, you want to lighten up your feet. There you go. Come all the way through. Alright. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bigger drill in there and we'll chamfer those edges. Alright, so we've chucked up our X drill, and then she's just going to lightly bring that down and kiss that edge and bevel it out. Just a little bit more. That's good. Alright, cut it up, put it off. Now we're going to flip this around and we'll do the other side, and we'll call this almost out. Okay, so we just loosened everything up, backed it around, and so now we're set to re-engage, and again you're just going to do the same thing. And I just got it by eye, so you know we might be a little off, but again, little post. Yeah, that's good. All right, so we'll take this out, and then we'll find a 4/20 set screw, and we'll finish this off. Filming. Hey folks, welcome back. Duck D in a Dungeon, and this is something I've never done before on YouTube anyhow. I just want to talk to Cindy a little bit about, I want to ask her some questions about what she did today, how she felt, and other related things. So, alright babe, who are you holding? Who is that little thing?
This is Tiggle.
This is our little fur baby, Takita.
Yep. But she goes by Tiggle.
Also known as Tigglebit or Tiggly Wiggly. She is our little baby. She is spoiled rotten. Yes, she is spoiled rotten. So, when I told you today that I wanted you to do a project, how did you feel? What went through your mind?
I was nervous because I had never used those machines before. I just usually record you messing with the machines.
Messing with the machine? Oh my God.
Working with the
This is a hazard, guy. When you videotape, they are messing with the machines.
Working with the machines then.
Okay. So, what machines did you use today?
Lathe and what was the other thing?
A milling machine?
Milling machine.
Okay. Do you remember what operations you did? Can you think about the operations that you did do?
Drilling a hole.
Yeah, you drilled holes before though with the drill.
Yeah.
Very limited, I might add.
Shaving off the metal.
Okay, so
piece.
turning.
Yeah.
And facing. You know, we cleaned up the front of the material.
Using the I'm drawing a blank. The
the hacksaw.
No. Oh my gosh. The file.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, dressing the edges with a file. You know, so I'm sure that, you know, there are a lot of people going to be out there like, oh my God, you know, that was a lot for her to do without knowing anything. And it's like, well, yes and no. Everything that we did today was a basic operation. And again, you know, my whole purpose in doing this was, number one, to help Cindy learn so that she's actually more useful than what she already is. I mean, she's very useful in the shop. She holds things. She does a lot of behind the scene things that you guys don't see, and you know, and it's invaluable. But you know, I envision a time where, you know, I could give her a small project, or she could have her own small project and just go and do it, and not have to ask me. And you know, that way I can work on something that's a little more complex, and then she could be doing that. And you know, really the end goal is for Cindy to kind of grow her own little wings and develop a bit of confidence, and to come up with an idea for something, or have a tool. And she has a lot of tools, believe it or not, and take a tool and modify it to fit her needs, and not have to, you know, come to me and say, well, how should I do this? You know, that's really the end goal. So you had a little bit of anxiety when you started.
Yeah.
Was it difficult? Was there anything that was difficult?
Just not really. Just, I guess, just figuring out the names of the things, and like, that's about it. Just doing it right.
Well, and again, you know, you're not going to do it right. That's just it. I mean, you know, and I screwed it up, you know, because I misread the caliper. You know, that kind of stuff happens, and you know, and I've said this in earlier videos that, you know, I really haven't done a whole lot of machining related stuff in probably 4.5 years, maybe almost 5, and so I'm rusty, and you know, and you know, not thinking, you know, just a lot of things happening that, you know, I didn't think 3 steps ahead. It is what it is. I'm still learning. I learn every time that I do something, and hopefully Cindy is learning. She learns a lot by my mistakes, and she laughs at me when I screw stuff up. So, out of all the things you did today, what was your favorite?
The finished product.
Okay.
Just seeing it completed and knowing that I did it.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Absolutely. I mean, that's really what it's about. I mean, there's nothing that beats.
And learning too. Like, you
know, taking something that you have a picture in your head, and then when you get done, it actually looks like that picture. And that doesn't always happen. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes things conspire against you. What was your least favorite part?
The scrapings. The hot scrapings hitting my arm.
The chips popping off, yeah.
Yep, that was my least favorite.
Yeah, she was dancing a fancy jig when, you know, at about 20 thousandths it was tossing chips. At 25 it wasn't. 30 it was fine. But at 20 thousandths it was popping a lot of chips and causing her to jump and move around a lot.
Yep, that's about it, other than the heat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hot. Folks, it is hot out there. Our ballroom, when I woke up this morning, was already 82 degrees, you know, and I've got an AC running in there full time. It's hot, and that's why we haven't had any videos. You know, I've been out there doing some small things, but it's just too hot. It's too hot to film. It's too hot to really think about stuff. But you know, as fall comes, we'll definitely get back in full swing, and you know, we'll be well over 100 videos by the end of this year. I promise you. A lot of more good content. Holy cow! Don Garing, if you're watching, he's one of my good friends up north. He'll get a kick out of that. But got a lot of good content coming up for you. I have a lot of things to do. Cindy's going to be learning, and again, Cindy has her own YouTube channel. Takita, do you have your own YouTube channel yet?
She's like, no, but I need one.
She says, I need one. I think we're going to start a YouTube channel for Takita because she's so darn cute.
Where she's running by.
And she is the sassiest dog I've ever owned in my life. And the sweetest and the cutest. All right. So, one last thing. So you've got ladies in the audience, or even guys in the audience who are watching this, and you know, they're really kind of excited about the possibilities of going out and learning how to do machining. What would you say to them?
Just do it. It's the only way you're going to learn, is just to pull up your big girl pants or big boy pants and just do it. That's it.
Yes.
That's all I can really say. I don't
Yeah,
know.
and you know, and I have to give Cindy a lot of
I mean,
credit.
it's similar to like, jumping in the ocean or freediving,
But
Just
when,
do
when
it.
I first met Cindy 3 years ago, very timid. She's still very timid, but she was very resistant to try new things, and she has really started to grow her wings and fly over these last 3 years. Really, over the last year, she's really started to do a lot of stuff. She's picked up freediving. She has a freediving YouTube channel. Again, that link will be in there. She started resin making. She had an idea that she saw a bunch of videos on resin making, and she said, "I want to try that." Well, buy some stuff and try it. And holy cow, she is a resin making fiend. She is making stuff. She hasn't been making much this month because it's too hot. It's too hot to pour resin without coming inside in the ballroom. But we really don't want to do that in our living space. But she has really taken off with that and doing a lot of very cool stuff. She's done a lot of stuff for me. I really need to start posting that stuff. She was a scuba diver prior to me meeting her, but she wasn't a free diver. She was not super comfortable in the water, and I started free diving, and she was tagging along, snorkeling alongside, and I finally convinced her, let's get you into a class. And a good friend of ours, Bob Fanek, Blue Water Free Divers, he got her in a class, and holy cow, it's opened up a whole new world for her, and so just do it. And I hate to use Nike's slogan, but really,
Yeah, I
just do
wasn't
it.
thinking about that.
If you want to learn something, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to jump in. I have a Patreon account. I don't have any members on it yet. I'd love to get some members in there to start developing that community. Even without the community, reach out to me. I will help you. I am all about building community. I'm all about giving of my time, because there have been countless people in my lifetime who have devoted a lot of time, attention, energy into my growth, and I'm all about returning that. Positive karma is good for everybody. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you've got a child at home, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or whatever, who kind of watches you and is curious, have them watch this video, and maybe you will get the new helper in your shop. Doc G out. Please like and subscribe. Takita, say bye.
Well,
Have a great weekend, folks.